Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Viviana Valencia, and I'm the Executive Coordinator at CALDO. We're continuing with the series studying Canada, and for this series, the CALDO Consortium has invited the Graduate Studies Department or schools from each of our 10 member universities so that you may have an opportunity to learn about their institution as well as to ask questions in relation to their academic requirements. I would like to request our audience, if there's something you would like to ask our presenter, please note your question in the box labeled Q&A at the bottom of your screen. You will find two boxes, one that is the chat box. That one, we will use it only if you are experiencing any technical problems. But if you have questions in relation to the presentation itself, we ask for you to note those in the Q&A box. At the end of the session, we will have 10 to 15 minutes to ask questions. Before we start, I would like to take 2 to 3 minutes just to introduce CALDO Consortium to those of you who are not familiar with the organization. Okay, so CALDO is a consortium composed of 10 of Canada's U15 leading universities, distinguished from other Canadian universities because of the strong research focus. Our members consist of the University of Alberta, the University of Calgary, Dalhousie University, Université Laval, McMaster University, the University of Ottawa, the University of Saskatchewan, the University of Toronto, the University of Waterloo, and Western University. So what do we do at CALDO? CALDO, we provide a range of free services to prospective students interested in completing graduate programs at one of our 10 member universities. Some of the services we offer are assistance with the steps to apply for graduate programs at any of our member universities, guidance on how to contact with professors who would be your thesis supervisors, information on scholarships provided by funding agencies from the countries we work with in Latin America, which at the moment are Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay. I would like to also just take 1 minute to draw your attention to our website. In our website, you will find a lot of very, very useful information. For example, the steps to apply to any graduate program of our 10 member universities, funding opportunities such as the ones that I mentioned earlier, the funding agencies, testimonials from former and current graduate students from Latin America to Canada, application requirements and grade equivalences. And for me, one of the most useful tools, if you go to our landing page, for example, here in your screen, you're seeing home. So if you go to home, there you will see a search engine where you can find all the programs in relation to your interests that are offered at 10 member universities. For example, if you're interested in studying, I'm thinking mechanical engineering, you just type mechanical engineering. If you're looking to apply for a master's, you select master's, or if it's a PhD, you select PhD, and then it will display all the different programs in that area that are offered at our 10 member universities. So if after you have browsed our website, you still have some questions, I would like to invite you to fill our contact form. This you will find it again on our website. It's going to be in a pop-up, like a pop-up, where you can provide us with more information so our program coordinator can contact you with more information, like what you were not able to find, we can then provide it via email. Well, with this in mind, now I would like to introduce you to Calvin, who is the Graduate Recruitment Coordinator at the University of Calgary. Cal, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, here. Let me just start my video.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today for the webinar on the University of Calgary. As Bibiana said, my name is Calvin. I go by the name Cal, and I work at the University of Calgary, and I have so for the past 9 years. I work in the Faculty of Graduate Studies, so we oversee all graduate requirements, and we set the policies on admissions. My job is to look after a few programs and mainly to do recruitment. I do travel to Latin America with CALDO when we are able to travel. So hopefully in the near future, when COVID is not a concern anymore, we'll be able to see you guys in Latin America soon. So I'm going to start to share my screen, and we'll get into a little bit about the University of Calgary, what's it like living in Calgary, some of the programs, the admission requirements, and then go into answering some of your questions that you may have. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my screen okay. So
Yes, we can see it.
okay, good. So for people who do not know where Calgary is, we are located in the province of Alberta, where you can see there's a map and a little dot of Calgary. We are not the capital city, but we are the largest city in Alberta. We have about 1.4 million people living in our city, which makes it one of the largest cities in Canada. We are very near these beautiful landscapes, near the Rocky Mountains, which is to the west of us, and the prairie grasslands to the east. The mountains that you see there, they're only about an hour away from our campus. And a lot of students on their weekends or during the summer or even in the winter drive out there to go camping, to go hiking, kayaking. There's a lot of great outdoor activities that you can participate in, and it's such a short distance away. Calgary also enjoys a diverse and strong economy, and a lot of people want to come to Calgary to live and work. And hopefully, if that is your end goal, we'd love to help you achieve your dream as well. It's not as expensive as other big cities like Vancouver or Toronto. And we can talk a little bit more about the cost of living in Calgary. What it might cost you for an apartment, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, on campus, off campus, if you choose to study at the University of Calgary. So a little bit about our city. We are the 5th most livable city in the world and the #1 most livable city in North America. So when you think of all the great places to live in the world, Calgary ranks right up there. It has a great education system, a great health care system, and an overall great quality of life. We are a very highly educated population, and we're the 4th most diverse city in Canada. Calgary is also known as the energy capital of Canada. Students who are studying chemical and petroleum engineering or sustainable energy, mechanical engineering, Calgary is one of the best places to study because in Alberta, we produce a lot of oil research, a lot of research on sustainable energy as well. So if that area is something that you're interested in, we'd love to give you more information on that. And also, Calgary is the sunniest city in Canada. We have over 333 days of sunshine a year. And what you see now is just a snapshot of the city. You can see the Calgary Tower in the middle. The back of that are the Rocky Mountains again that we talked about. So it's a beautiful place, lots of scenery, greenery, lots of parks, lots of walkways, lots of ways to get around the city. So a little bit about the University of Calgary. We are a member of Canada's U15 Research Intensive University, just like the other 9 CALDO universities that you'll be viewing later on through these webinars. We have over 30,000 students on our campus, 24,000 undergraduate, and about 6,500 graduate students. And about 25% of our graduate students are international. Our campus is, it's a beautiful campus. It's a park-like scenery. We have lots of trees. We had a pond. There's a lot of green spaces for students just to sit and relax and to enjoy the sunshine and just to hang out. We are the #6 research intensive university in Calgary, which means our degrees are internationally recognized. And 91% of our graduate finds employment within 6 months after graduation. And at the University of Calgary, we offer a wide range of programs and offices to support students. So once you become a student at the University of Calgary, we want you to succeed through your academic career. there's lots of different services that we provide. We provide health services. There's a dental office, a doctor's office on campus. We have a wellness center for students who might be facing some mental issues, dealing with living abroad or whatever other factors that might be happening in their life. There's a faith and spiritual healing for students who practice a certain religion. There's prayer centers. We have an international center as well that puts on a lot of events for students, especially international students. They have bowling night, movie night. They drive out to the mountain as a group. They take you guys shopping when you first get here. So if you're looking for things for your house, they organize trips for that. So there's a lot of support for our students. And that's what makes the University of Calgary so unique, is that we care so much about our students and making sure that they have everything that they need to succeed through their academic career. So this is a little bit more about our campus. Oops, sorry. So at the University of Calgary, we do have on-campus residence as well. So if you choose to live in our on-campus, you can choose to live in 1-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom apartments. If you're coming with a family, we also have family housing for our students. So you can bring a spouse over and your kids as well. There are lots of public schools around the university that if you do come with your children, they can attend. There's a lot of daycare services, day homes. And once your family comes, they're covered by Alberta Healthcare. And also if you choose to cover them through your student healthcare plan as well, they can get extended health and dental benefits. So being a student at the University of Calgary, there's a lot of great things happening. So you don't have to worry about visiting a hospital, visiting a doctor, getting medicine. If your family gets sick, that's all covered through Alberta Health and through your student health and dental plan. There's a lot of different clubs on campus as well. Every fall, all the student groups, we have over 400 student groups. They set up a display and advertise what they're doing. So if you're into, for example, ballroom dancing, if you're into animation, into video game, into archery, into golf, there is a student group for you. And it's a great way to get out, meet people, make new friends, and then just do something really exciting on campus. At the university, your health and safety is our priority as well. We do have a 24-hour campus security. So for example, if you are studying or if you're working in a lab late and you need someone to walk you to your car or need someone to walk you to the bus station or the train station, you can call our campus security and they'll be more than glad to take you to where you need to go on campus or to your car or to the bus station. So safety at the University of Calgary is very paramount. At the University of Calgary, we have 14 faculties. We have the Faculty of Arts. We have the Working School of Education, Environmental Design. This is dealing with architecture, landscape architecture. We have the Graduate Studies, Husking School of Business, Kinesiology, Law, Cummings School of Medicine, Nursing. We have a campus in Qatar as well, which does nursing. We have a School of Engineering, Science, Social Work, and Veterinary Medicine. At the University of Calgary, something that's very unique for our graduate student is our professional development program offered through My Grad Skills. This is a free resource to all our graduate students. You know, when you become a graduate student, there are a lot of different factors that are not that are unique that you might not have experienced when you were a bachelor. For example, you might be asked to be a teaching assistant. A lot of students may not have teaching experience. So there's a lot of workshops offered through My Grad Skills where they teach you how to be an effective teaching assistant. Sometimes working with a supervisor might be new to students as well. They might not have that when they were an undergraduate. So there's a lot of workshops on how do you work with a supervisor? How do you effectively communicate with the supervisor that you have? We have career services as well. For our grad students, we have a master's and PhD specialist at our career center that helps students sort of look for work in the area that they're studying in. We also have paid internships, which is very unique to the University of Calgary. We still have funding for this, and it's an opportunity for students that are registered at the University of Calgary in a master's or a PhD program to gain valuable work experience. So if you're a master's student in your second year, and if you're a PhD student in your third or fourth year, you have the opportunity to intern at a company or at a nonprofit organization. A lot of times, the companies will pay you a little bit of money. The university will give you a little scholarship to work at this company. And for a short amount of time, you're getting the work experience, you're getting paid. And a lot of students who have been doing these internships have been hired on full-time after they complete their studies. So this is a great opportunity for students who are looking to build a life and a career in Calgary to gain that valuable work experience. This is something that's very cool and very unique to the University of Calgary. So a little bit about some of our exceptional facilities at the University of Calgary. We have the Taylor Family Digital Library. This is the main library at the University of Calgary. It's one of several. This is the most technologically advanced library in North America. So a lot of the books that we have are digitized. So there's no issues with books being taken out. You can always access it online. We do have books still in a paper format if that's the one that you want. But this is a great facility for students to come and do group work, to do their research. And it's just a spectacular building. Another facility that we're very proud of is our Human Performance Laboratory. It's a leader in both basic and applied research relating to human neuromuscular skeletal health and well-being from birth to advanced age. So if you're studying kinesiology or biomedical engineering, this is a world-class resource. The Human Performance Laboratory, they have designed shoes for David Beckham. They have worked with Adidas in developing some of the products. They have worked with Under Armour as well. So this is a great facility for students studying kinesiology, biomedical engineering. Great research happening in this facility right here. We also have the Hunter Hub's new collision space, which is dedicated to entrepreneurial thinking. So this is a great resource for students who want to be entrepreneurs, who have a business idea and want support. They outreach to a lot of industry leaders and they put on a lot of workshops on, for example, how do you get funding for a startup? What is it like to write a business plan? And they'll invite a lot of entrepreneurs to talk about the struggles that they have starting their own business and to give advice. There's a lot of mentorship that goes on as well. So if you have a product or a service that you're thinking of starting, then at the University of Calgary, the Hunter Hub's collision space is a great resource to help you, push you and to become the entrepreneur and get you succeeded in your business or your service that you want. This is our graduate studies residence. It was opened in the fall 2015, and this is solely dedicated to graduate living. So there are no undergraduate students allowed in this building. It's all for graduate students. There's 394 graduate rooms in single and in double rooms. It's right on campus, so there's no worries about being late or when it's cold. You can just walk right to class. This is one option, and there's a lot of different private apartments, private houses in around the university as well. So are you ready for the graduate studies at the University of Calgary? So these are the requirements for our students coming from Latin America. These are just the minimum requirements set up by the Faculty of Graduate Studies. Some programs may require a higher requirement. So if you're coming from Brazil, if you're going into a master's, then we'll look at your bachelor's, you need a 7 out of 10. For Chile, 5 out of 7. Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay, you can see what our minimum requirements are. I know that sometimes your transcripts might not correspond directly with this grading scale, but we do have experts working at the Faculty of Graduate Studies and at the program level who are very good at reading international transcripts. So if you have any questions about your credentials, please email me. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So the English language proficiency is a requirement as well for getting into your graduate studies. You can see the two most common are the TOEFL and IELTS, and these are the minimum requirements as well. So if you're doing the TOEFL, internet base is 86 with no section less than 20. If you're doing the IELTS, it's 6.5 with no section less than 6. Some programs, especially the medical graduate programs and education as well, might require a higher IELTS or a higher TOEFL. I know now that during the COVID pandemic, a lot of the testing centers are closed and students are facing challenges in getting their IELTS and TOEFL. So the University of Calgary has implemented temporary changes to our testing scores. So we now accept Duolingo English test score and the TOEFL IBT Special Home Edition for the spring 2020, summer 2020, fall 2020, winter, spring, and summer 2021 schedules as well. So if you're having issues with the regular IELTS or the regular TOEFL, these are two additional English language tests that you can take. We might offer it for the fall 2021 as things change so rapidly with the way COVID is affecting countries, universities. So keep looking at our website, but we do accept Duolingo and TOEFL Special Home Edition. If your university is a university where the language taught was in English, so if you did a bachelor's degree and it was all taught in English, then the program may waive the English requirement for you as well. Okay. GRE and GMAT. The GRE is not a requirement for our programs. It's normally required for our computer science, our clinical psychology, our physics and astronomy, and psychology for master's students only. And the GMAT, which is the Graduate Management Aptitude Test, is only required for students who are wanting to do an MBA program. So at the University of Calgary, we offer over 140 different graduate programs. You can view a complete list of all our graduate programs by visiting the website grad.ucalgary, future grads. The best way to learn about a program is to click on the program that you're interested in, read their requirements, and contact the program directly. So each program sets out their own admission requirements. Some programs might ask for a CV. Some programs might ask for a research proposal or a research intent. Some programs might ask you to have a supervisor before applying. Some programs might ask you for 2 references, 3 references. Some programs might ask you for a portfolio of your previous work. So it's best to look at the program that you're interested in, read through the requirements, and start gathering the documents you need. If you have any questions specifically, contact the program directly, as they have graduate program administrators that can give you information about their program requirements and deadlines. Also, for thesis-based students in a master's program or PhD, review the research areas of professors in the program that you're interested in, and start making a list of professors you would like to work with. Start reading some of their journal entries, start reading some of their research, and start contacting professors that you would like to have supervise your research. Having a supervisor before you apply greatly enhances your chances of getting admitted into a graduate program. A lot of times the funding for your program will come from your supervisor as well. So if you're looking at applying for fall 2021, please start looking at professors, making a list, and start reading some of their entries. If you're applying to a research-based master's or a doctoral program, you might have to identify a prospective student prior to applying. This is really the case for engineering programs and medical programs. Okay, it's best to check with the program to see if this is the case. And a lot of times students ask us How do I find a supervisor? How do I even know if a professor is accepting a student? And that's a challenge that a lot of graduate students face. So what we've done at the University of Calgary is we've tried to make that easier for students. So if you go onto a program and you click a program that you're interested in, we're going to list professors who are seeking students. For example, this is for the Chemical and Petroleum graduate program. Once you click on the program information page and you scroll down to the bottom, I'll tell you some information about the program requirements, deadlines. But the cool thing is we list professors who are seeking students. You can see Arundam Sen, he is from the biomedical engineering. He's accepting inquiries, professors who are accepting inquiries. Edward Roberts, he's unavailable. So once you find a professor who is accepting a student or accepting inquiries, you can click on their name and it'll bring you to their profile page. It'll give you a little bit more about their background, what they're working on, and also a contact form for you to fill out. And this is a great way to reach professors and know who is accepting students. When you do contact a professor, please do not copy and paste your emails or your comments to each professor that you're contacting, because these professors, they receive numerous emails and inquiries a day, and they can tell if your inquiry is a copy and paste inquiry, and if so, they'll probably ignore it. So that's why it's very important to do a little bit of research about the professor. When you contact them, highlight what you like about the research, how excited you are to be a part of what they're doing, and how what they're doing may match with what your goals are. And these are ways that you can sort of distinguish yourself from other applicants as well. We do have a guide on how to contact supervisors. If you're interested in receiving this guide, I'll leave you my contact at the end of the presentation, and I'll send you a PDF copy as well. So when contacting professors, be unique, make it personal, and show excitement in your communication. So reaching out to professors, just some quick things to keep in mind. Do your research. Again, start viewing the profiles, reading their work, be specific, show you're serious and you're well qualified. Tell them a couple of strong points about your background and who you work with on a research project. If you've won any awards, any scholarships when you were a bachelor student, or if you're a master, or when you were a master's student, mention those. Those are great things to show the professor. And then wait before following up. I know sometimes students get a little bit anxious when they haven't heard back from a professor in a week. But sometimes it does take professors a couple of weeks to get back to you because they are teaching courses, they are supervising their own students, and depending on when you contact them, it could be the beginning of the term or the end of the term when they're grading papers or getting their courses ready. It might take them a couple of weeks to get back to you. If you haven't heard back from a professor in about 10 days, then you can try to send them a follow-up email. And if you haven't heard back after that, then you can send the program an email just to double check that the professor is on campus. Sometimes they might be on sabbatical, or they might not be accepting students, and the program administrator will be at a better position to let you know if that professor is indeed accepting students. Okay. So the application process at the University of Calgary, once you have identified a program that you would like to apply to, and then you've read their requirements and you know that you meet their admission requirements, you need to create an EID, which is like a username, which allows you to access the online application. So once you have an EID, you can log into your online application, and then you can start completing your application. You can stop at any time and it'll save for you. And then you can continue on and finish it on the next day, the next week. So know that you do have a lot of time to complete your application. Yep. But you just be aware of the deadlines for programs, because each program has their own admission deadline. The application fee is $145 for international students and $125 for Canadian. So after you submit your online application, you will receive within 24 hours an email with instructions for uploading your supporting documents. And this email will include your student ID number. So the supporting documents that you might have to upload are a CV, research proposal, but you will have to upload your unofficial transcripts for the program to review and evaluate. So some of the program requirements, as I mentioned, CV depends on the program, university transcripts, and degree certificates in English, preferably. Your proof of English language tests and GRE, if applicable. Your statement of research, again, it depends on the program. And then you have to enter the names and email addresses of your references. It can be 2 to 3 depending on the program. And some departments may have additional requirements. For your references, all you need are their email addresses. Once you submit your application, your references will get an email to log into a secure site where they will complete a reference form for you. And once they complete that, then your admission will be ready to review. So each program has their own evaluation committee and procedures. Students' application is evaluated by the program they're applying to, and decisions on admissions are made by the program, and the length of time may vary. It could be a month after the deadline up to 3 months or 4 months after the deadline that you might hear back from a program. So be patient. You can always check the status of your application through your student center, or you can email the program for any updates to your application. Tips on submitting a successful application: read the eligibility requirements of the program before you apply. Choose the right references. Ask professors that you've worked with in your bachelor's degree or your master's degree to let them know that you're applying to the University of Calgary, and to let them know that they'll be expecting an email from us, and to give you a very positive reference. Also, having a strong statement of interest is very key as well for programs that requirement. And when you think about your statement of interest, think about why do you want to go to grad school, what do you want to do with your degree, and what is it about this program that interests you. You want to highlight your academic and professional achievements, and then have all your supporting documents and transcripts ready for uploading. So international students, talking about awards now, international students are eligible to apply for many of the awards administered through the University of Calgary Scholarship Office. These awards are very competitive, and it's important to read the eligibility requirements and follow the application instructions for each award you apply for. You must apply for graduate awards. You're not automatically considered. You may apply for awards after you have submitted your application for admission and receive your UCID number. So once you submit an application, this is the time to start looking for scholarships and start applying for scholarships for when you get admission. Okay, so you do not need to be admitted into a program before you apply for awards. Some awards are restricted by citizenship, and international students are eligible for many awards. We do have an awards database where you can filter by degree. For example, you can filter by the Masters of Science. I'm applying for computer science. I'll be a full-time student, and I'm international. And it'll list all the awards that you're eligible for. It'll give you links to how to apply for the awards, the value of the awards, and the deadlines. And some of these awards are very high value. The most prestigious are our Vaniers, which is $50,000 a year for 3 years, tax-free. The Killam is $30,000 a year for 3 years, tax-free. And then there's many different awards that are $1,000 to $25,000. So lots of opportunities for international students to apply for awards. That being said, these awards are mainly for thesis-based students. So students who are doing research. Course-based students Unfortunately, there are not many awards offered through the University of Calgary. Because we are a very research-intensive university, most of the awards are geared towards research. Course-based students are considered self-funded primarily. But the University of Calgary, we do have a lot of partnerships with Latin American agencies. For example, in Brazil, we partner with CAPES in Chile, CONACYT, Colombia, Colienses, Peru, PRONAPEC, Ecuador, Sensi, Uruguay, ANI, Paraguay, BICAL, Mexico, CONACYT. And we do have many students from, for example, Mexico, who are in course-based students who are getting funded by CONACYT. So although the University of Calgary may not have scholarships available for course-based students, our partner agencies may support course-based students. Students from Mexico, funded by CONACYT, are studying MEng, Masters of Engineering. They're studying Masters of Business and also Sustainable Energy Development. So these are some of the students in course-based programs that I know that have received funding from CONACYT. There are different ways for you to come to the University of Calgary as well. We have something called the Visiting Research Student program, which is an opportunity for students who are currently studying a master's or PhD program to come to the University Library and work with a professor and gain that research experience. So you still have access to our libraries, email, recreation services, transit path, health, dental coverages as well. You can come here and be a visiting research student, do research with a professor up to 1 year, as little as 1 month. There's no tuition fees involved. You just come, you'll pay for your own housing, minimum student fees, but you'll gain that valuable research work with a professor. Okay. And we'll quickly run through some of the programs that we have so that we can leave lots of time for questions and answers. We have computer science. You can see some of the key strengths. We have geology and geophysics, strong focus on essential skills. Calgary is a great place to study geology and geophysics. Again, we do a lot of oil research, drilling. A lot of geologists come here to work. So if that's your field, this is a great opportunity for you. We have a lot of engineering programs. We're one of the top engineering schools in Canada with strong focus on entrepreneurship, innovation, and engineering excellence. You can see some of the engineering programs that we offer: chemical and petroleum, civil, electrical, and computer engineering, geomatics, mechanical and manufacturing, biomedical, and some stuff in sustainable energy. We just redesigned our engineering space. So there's whole new lab areas, whole new classrooms, great study spaces, great resources for students in engineering. Civil engineering is one of the top programs at the University of Calgary. There's a lot of different specializations within civil engineering. Oil and gas, again, is one of our key strengths, being the energy capital of Canada. We do have partnerships in Mexico as well. We do have a professor who works at UNAM and is instrumental in collaborations with the University of Calgary and agencies in Mexico. He is a great resource for our students in Mexico who want to learn a little bit more about Calgary, who might need help in reaching professors in the oil and gas sector. So if your area is in oil and gas, chemical, petroleum engineering, please send me an email if you want to meet one of our professors who is currently at UNAM. Even if you're not in the oil and gas and you want to just talk to a UCalgary professor, gain a little bit of information about the admission process, what's it like being a teaching assistant, what's it like working with a professor. He does work at UNAM, and he's helped many students from Mexico connect with professors and helping them come to the University of Calgary. So we have numerous graduate programs in the medical science. So you can see we have biochemistry, molecular biology, biomedical technology, community health, cardiovascular, and so on and so on. The University of Calgary, when this whole COVID-19 situation happened, our researchers in the medical education field really stepped up. They started putting a lot of research into developing vaccines for COVID-19. They developed a very simple ventilation system that can be used for patients now. They're doing a lot of mental health support for students now. So a lot of great research happening in this faculty. Physics and astronomy as well, we have. They do some great research in astrophysics, if that's your area. Faculty of Arts as well. It's our largest faculty with more than 50 undergraduate programs, 20 comprehensive graduate programs, strong focus on experiential learning. We have the Haskell School of Business as well, which is internationally accredited, ranked 20th best business school. And they do MBA programs, course-based, thesis-based. They have a PhD in management, a lot of great entrepreneurial resources as well. So a great place to study business. So why should you study at the University of Calgary? Calgary is highly ranked, recognized education leader in Canada and abroad with a global orientation. We have competitive financial conditions, and our commitment to success is part of our Eyes High 5-year plan to encourage all staff, students, and faculty to strive for excellence. Something that's very unique to the University of Calgary as well is for students who are coming to study a master's thesis-based or a PhD program, we offer something called the International Graduate Tuition Award. So this is an addition to the funding that programs give you. If you're admitted into a graduate program at the thesis level, you're guaranteed funded. Okay, your funding will come from either your program or your supervisor. And on top of that, the Faculty of Graduate offers you International Graduate Tuition Award to help pay down some of your tuition fees. So you get funding from your program, you get a scholarship from the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and numerous opportunities to apply for scholarships. So applications for the fall 2021 will open in October and November for most programs. The deadlines will vary from program to program. Most of the engineering programs will be January 15th, and then all throughout the year, it might be January 31st for some arts, some sciences, July. So check the program that you're interested in for their admission requirements and deadlines. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about what the fall semester at the University of Calgary is going to look like this year. I know there's a lot of uncertainty from students because of the COVID-19 situation. At the University of Calgary, the spring and summer courses were moved online, but for the fall, we've decided that we're going to have a blended format. So we want about 30% of our student and staff population on campus at a time. So there'll be a blended learning. So there'll be online and then in-class component as well. And at the University of Calgary, we have the Taylor Institute of Learning, which is a building and a facility that's solely dedicated to student and teaching and experience. So when the COVID-19 situation became relevant and we had to move our classes online, we were in a very good position because we had this resource that helped our professors move their classes online and provided them with the training, the resources that they need. So the quality of education that students are receiving now online is very high, and it does not suffer because it's online. So we look forward to having you join the University of Calgary family. Again, if you have any questions, my email is future.grad@ucalgary.ca. And now we'll start looking at questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then maybe we can start facilitating some questions.
Thank you, Calvin, very much. Yes, so we're going to move into the questions section. Just before we do that, I just would like to quickly share a couple information based on the comments that I've seen throughout the session. So I noticed that a couple of you were wondering about information on the different ESL programs that our members offer, or also information on how to contact a supervisor, just to let you know, next month in July, we're gonna have 2 webinars, one on different ESL programs and 2 on tips on how to contact supervisors. So stay tuned for the calendar that we're going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks with information of those webinars. Also, I saw that there were other questions from students from Bolivia, Argentina, asking if they could apply to, I'm guessing in this case, Calgary. But yeah, so regardless of where you're from, you can apply to any of our member universities for graduate studies. The other question that I quickly saw is general information in terms of scholarships. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to start asking the questions that were not answered through Calvin's presentation, and then at the end I'm going to provide as those questions, because all of you are going to be receiving this presentation. So if at any point you want to go back and read a specific slide, you will have it with you and you can refer back to the information that Calvin provided. So in terms of funding, there was one specific question for course-based masters. Just to give you a little bit of context, Calvin showed you the different agreements that the University of Calgary has with Latin America. Those are the same agreements that all our member universities have with Latin America through CALDO. And unfortunately for Mexico, it seems that the course-based programs are there's very limited funding, if any, for course-based masters. However, if you're from Chile, CONACYT is funding course-based master programs. So yeah, so that's in relation to funding. So Calvin, one of the questions that we receive here is in terms of living expenses. The question itself is living expenses in Canada. Obviously, those vary from province to province and to city, but could you give a ballpark figure in terms of what can a graduate student expect to spend, let's say, in a year in Calgary?
Right. So yeah, it depends on how frugal you want to live as well. We do have a cost estimator through our Graduate Student Association. So if you want to, I can send a link to that to you guys later, and you can enter the information. It gives you sort of a guide of what you expect to pay. But for Calgary, if you're living on campus in one of the residences that I showed you, you're going to expect to pay about $900 to $1,000 a month for living on campus. If you're living outside of campus, which a lot of students choose to do, then you can spend about $500 for a shared sort of apartment. So you rent a room, you share the living room, you share the bathroom, you share the showers, you share the kitchen, but you have your own private room. And that can run you about $500 to $600 a month, which is a bit more reasonable. And being a student at the university, you are giving a transit pass as well, where you can ride the local trains every term as much as you want. Groceries, expect to pay depending on your diet or whatnot. You can pay about $75 a week in groceries. A phone, for example, if you're looking at a cell phone, you might pay about $50 a month for a plan. And then for internet, you might pay $50 a month as well, depending on how fast you want your speed to be. So typically we say budget around $1,200 a month for your living expenses as a graduate student. And that should be enough to cover your living expenses and your food as well. So 1,200 is sort of the minimum that you can look at for your living expense.
Great, thank you so much, Calvin. Calvin, I have another question. So this person is asking about the PhD applications. If the grade requirements correspond to the bachelor's GPA or the master's GPA?
That's a good question. So if you're applying to a master's program, then the program is going to base the admission on your master's degree.
Great, thank you. Also, can you, because I noticed a number of questions are very similar in terms of the English requirements. Remember how you mentioned that now with COVID, a lot of centers are closed.
Yeah.
You mentioned, yeah, what other options that the students have?
Yep. So we are accepting duolingual, and then the TOEFL at home one as well.
Great. And just to remind you, all of you are going to get the presentation so you can look at that particular slide. Colvin, can you talk a little bit about postdoc positions at your Calgary? Like, is there a database where students interested in doing a postdoc can access that information, or
So,
just
yeah.
maybe briefly talk about that?
So postdoc are handled by our postdoc office. And they normally advertise any postdoc opportunities through the career website at the University of Calgary. So that's the best place to look, is at the career website, as they'll post their postdoc positions there. You can also reach out to your program directly to see if there are any postdoc opportunities within the program, but most of the opportunities will be posted on our career website, and it's
Great.
handled by another office. Yeah.
Thank you, Colvin. Another question. So this is a bit specific. So this is a student from Mexico. He graduated with a bachelor's degree from from University of Texas, El Paso. It seems that he did the TOEFL, but he can no longer locate the results. So he's wondering if his degree from this American university could help him basically waive the requirement for the English requirement.
Right. So good question. So if the student completed the degree in America and it was taught in English, then yes, the program may waive the English language requirement for him, and most likely will.
Thank you very much, Kelvin. So the next question is about in terms of tuition payment. The students would like to know if they have to pay on an annual basis and a term basis, or normally how is international tuition payment made to the University of Calgary?
Yep. So that's a good question as well. So tuition is paid every term. So for the fall term, you'll pay your fall tuition usually by the fee payment deadline. So this year, the fall payment deadline is September 25th. And then if you're taking courses and then in January, you'll be assessed tuition fees, and then in the spring, and then in the summer as well. For thesis-based students, so students who are doing research, and there's an option for payment plans as well. So you can spread your tuition over 4 months and pay equal installments monthly if you're in a thesis-based program. I think we might be offering that for course-based program during the pandemic as well. But tuition is paid per term, along with student fees as well. So in addition to your tuition, you're paying student fees, which is like gym, the UPass, health and dental, student services.
Great, thank you, Calvin. So the next question. How hard is it to find a job after doing a master's, let's say an engineering course-based master's in Calgary? Like in terms of, are there any tools, I'm guessing, that the University of Calgary can provide to students graduating that will facilitate the transition to the workplace?
Right. Yeah, it really depends on the economy. It depends on the engineering field, it depends on the economy. But at the University of Calgary, as mentioned, we do have a lot of resources for students to help them look for jobs. We have a career service center where we do have a master's specialist and a PhD specialist who work with these students in helping them write cover letters, helping them refine their resume, their CV. There's job postings for master's and PhD students. But the unique thing is the internship program that I mentioned in our webinar earlier. And it's an opportunity for students to gain that work experience and then have the opportunity, maybe if they do a good job, to get hired by the company that they intern at. So right now, I think along with all across Canada, the economy is not as strong as it can be. So getting a job after graduation can be a bit of a challenge, but we try to make it, and we try to give students the best resources possible to help them succeed in their job search. Who knows what it's going to be like in a year or 2 years from now, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. So can students apply to more than one program?
Yeah, if you meet the admission requirements for more than one programs, then of course you're more than welcome to apply. You will have to pay the admission uh, application fee for each program. If you are offered admission to both programs, then you're exceptional, and then you'll just have to choose which program you want to go forth with and which one you want to decline.
Yeah, thank you. Students are wondering about if it's possible to work part-time while they're studying at Calgary.
Yes, I think the government of Canada allows students, international students, to work up to 20 hours a week outside the campus when they're studying. I think if you're working on campus, then I think you can work a little bit more than that. On campus, there's a lot of restaurants, there's a bookstores, there's a catering, there's events that students can work at. But yes, there are opportunities for you to work and study at the same time.
Great, thank you. Colvin, another student is wondering how long in advance should they consider before applying to a graduate program at the university?
So you should start looking at your graduate programs that you're interested in your last year of your degree now, or a year in advance, really, because it might take you that long to gather the necessary documents, to reach a professor, to do the English test if you have to do one. But generally speaking, about a year and a year out is when you want to start looking at applying. For now, for example, most of the admissions are closed for fall and winter. And then the next available admission for most programs will be for fall 2021. And this is a great time now to start looking at the programs, start gathering the documents, start contacting your references, just to remind them of who you are, and let them know that you're going to apply for graduate school, so that when they do get an email, they're not surprised by it. And also start looking at professors you want to work with, and start making a list, reading some of their journal entries. But it is a process to do and to work on.
Thank you, Colvin. This will be our last question just due to time. But again, if your question was not answered, please feel free to contact us. You can see our information on the slide. We also ask you at the end of the session, we're going to provide you a very brief survey where we will ask you for some information. If you can take 2 to 3 minutes, it will be very, very valuable in terms of the content of future webinars. Yeah, so the last question here is, Colvin, how competitive is our graduate programs at Calgary? Can you briefly maybe talk about some statistics in terms of how many students are admitted every year, or how competitive the programs are?
Oh, that's a very tough question, because it really depends on the program as well. Some programs are more competitive than others. For example, the engineering and the medical programs are very competitive. They receive hundreds and hundreds of applications, and they only have a certain amount of spaces that they can fill, because if you're accepted into a graduate program at the thesis-based master's or PhD, the program has to offer you funding. It's guaranteed funding, meaning you're accepted into a master's thesis program, PhD program, you're getting funding. So that's why it's very competitive, because the professors only have a limited amount. To give you a perspective, for example, psychology is one of our most competitive programs. They have about 100 students apply a year, and they can only accept about 15 to 20 students. For engineering, it all varies. It's just the variation, yeah. Sorry, it's hard to say, but it is competitive.
Yeah, thank you very much, Colvin. Just to all the attendees, we're gonna be sending the questions that we were not able to answer to Colvin. So maybe later you can connect with them. Colvin, is there something else you would like to add before we close?
Yeah, definitely. I think if if you're applying to a master's or PhD program and you're looking at applying for a scholarship from your home country, for example, CONACYT from, or CAPIS, or some of the ones that we mentioned earlier, please send me an email letting me know that you will be applying for one of these scholarships from your home university, and I can try to help connect you with professors. A lot of our professors are seeking funded students from Latin America. So if you are going to apply for a scholarship from your home country, then I can definitely help connect you with professors as well. So please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you, even if you're not going to apply for a scholarship from your home country and you have questions about our programs, questions about things that I said today, please send me an email and we'd love to have you come to the University of Calgary.